Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're a focused learner looking to unpack this massive 2026 trend called CitrusBurn, you are exactly in the right place. Today, we are completely deconstructing the hype. We're relying exclusively on the hard facts, the trial data, and the ingredient profiles from our source reviews. Honestly, I'm super excited to guide you through this because we're going to just completely cut through all that marketing noise and get straight to the truth.
Does CitrusBurn actually work? I mean, that's the core question that brought you here, right? And it's exactly what we are answering today. No fluff, no aggressive sales pitches, just the grounded facts from actual trial data. We are going to put the manufacturer's claims right up against real-world results.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the CitrusBurn buzz, then examine the ingredients and metabolic claims. After that, we'll dive into a documented 30-day personal trial, weigh the pros and cons, and finally, look at the fine print of pricing and guarantees. All right, Section 1, the CitrusBurn buzz. Let's separate fact from fiction. Before we even touch the science, we really have to acknowledge the sheer cultural momentum of this stuff. Online searches for this specific supplement are literally exploding right now. And the reason is pretty simple. People are searching for reviews because they want real outcomes, not hype. Consumers are just exhausted by trendy diet pills that promise the world overnight and just deliver disappointment. And, that frustration is exactly why we're systematically analyzing this specific 30-day trial data today. Our ultimate goal today is just to uncover if this natural fat burner is a true solution or if it's just another fleeting online trend. And just to be absolutely clear right out of the gate, we are not endorsing this product. We are strictly investigating its supposed ability to naturally support a slowing metabolism. Moving into Section 2, ingredients and metabolic claims. Let's find out what's actually inside the bottle. So, reviewers consistently praise this clean, natural ingredient profile. We're talking Seville orange peel and grapefruit bioflavonoids, Spanish red apple vinegar, Himalayan mountain ginger, red pepper, ceremonial green tea, berberine, and Korean red ginseng. It's a really robust blend, and it successfully avoids those weird synthetic fillers. But there is a catch. Our sources point out that there's a proprietary blend hiding the exact measurements of these ingredients. That's definitely something a savvy consumer should always keep in mind.
To really understand the formula, we have to talk about thermogenesis. Think of it like your body's internal furnace. It's the natural production of heat that burns calories while you're just at rest. Now, the manufacturer claims that CitrusBurn breaks what they call thermogenic resistance. Basically, that's a metabolic slowdown that frequently hits people, specifically once they cross that age 35 mark.
So how do they claim to fix this resistance? It's a three-step process. First, you ingest these natural compounds. Second, those compounds target that thermogenic resistance and naturally curb your hunger signals. And third, they supposedly shift your body naturally into a fat-burning state. What's kind of compelling here is that it supposedly works from the inside out. So you're completely avoiding the need for harsh stimulants, injections, or those miserable extreme crash diets. Which brings us to lipolysis. This is the biological breakdown of stored fats into fatty acids. The product claims to specifically target stubborn belly fat through this exact process. And according to the source reviews, this whole process is highly optimized when you pair the daily supplement with some really basic, gentle activity. We're talking like just a simple daily walk. All right, Section 3, the 30-day personal trial. Let's look at a user's realistic journey. Now, this is where things get really interesting because we get to see expectation clash directly with reality. Following this user's actual 30-day test reveals a whole lot. Week 1, mostly just normalcy, no magic rushes, just slightly less evening bloating. By week 2, their energy started to stabilize and those cravings subtly dipped. Week 3 is where the visible differences finally emerged, along with natural appetite control. And by week 4, they reported realistic results and really stable energy. Notice the trend here? It's slow and steady. This is absolutely not an overnight miracle. Let's talk numbers and look at the hard metrics of that trial. At the start, the user was 185 pounds, had sluggish energy, and their clothes felt tight. By the end of the trial, they were down to 177 pounds, lost 2 inches off their waist, and saw a 20% increase in endurance during treadmill runs. Now, as your guide through this, I do have to point out a tiny discrepancy in the reviewer's own notes. They cite an 8-pound loss here, but later in the exact same source, they mention a 1.5 to 2 kilogram loss, which is actually closer to like 3 or 4 pounds. But regardless of the exact math there, they still noted a tangible, realistic drop in weight and waist size. The magic number for this entire routine is 2. That is the exact number of capsules taken daily. The user noted that taking these 2 pills with breakfast gave them a nice early morning energy buzz, but totally without any harsh jitters, crashes, or those gross aftertastes you sometimes get.
Moving to Section 4, Pros, Cons, and Side Effects. It's time for the balanced view.
Let's critically weigh the good against the bad, based strictly on what our sources say. On the pros side, we've got no harsh stimulants, sustainable results, a super easy daily routine, and importantly, no noticeable reported side effects. But on the con side, results take significant time, and using it absolutely requires realistic expectations. We have to thoroughly balance the praise for steady energy against the stark reality that this is simply not for someone seeking fast, aggressive fat loss.
And that brings us to an absolutely crucial takeaway. True, visible fat loss and metabolic improvement require 2 to 3 months of consistent use. A 30-day trial is great, but it really only scratches the surface. Both of our sources completely agree that if you actually want this to work, long-term consistency and patience are totally mandatory.
Finally, Section 5, Pricing, Guarantees, and Warnings. Let's talk purchasing practicalities. So, the pricing follows a sliding scale. A 1-bottle supply sets you back $59, but if you buy in bulk, a 3-bottle supply drops to $49 a bottle, and a 6-bottle supply drops all the way to $39. While those bulk orders definitely lower the price points, reviewers explicitly warn buyers to keep an eye out to surprise auto-ship charges that can be hidden on the checkout page.
Now, you've really got to pay close attention to the refund policies here, because we found a pretty notable discrepancy between our sources. Source 1 states there's a 180-day money-back guarantee, but Source 2 explicitly mentions a 60-day refund policy. However, both sources agree on one absolutely vital rule. You have to purchase strictly from the official website to qualify for any kind of return. This perfectly highlights why you must always read the fine print before hitting buy.
Which brings us to a huge glaring warning from the sources. They state, due to the high demand, many people are getting fake versions. Avoid Amazon knockoffs. Both sources vehemently stress that counterfeit versions are actively circulating online right now. Buying a knockoff won't just waste your hard-earned money, it could literally harm your health.
So, after all that, we are left with a final provocative question. Is CitrusBurn the gentle metabolic supporter you actually need, or is it just another stepping stone in the endless search for a shortcut? You'll have to weigh this realistic, slow-burn data against your own personal health goals and expectations. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this deep dive brought you some clarity today. And as always, stay curious.